Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be reviewing the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Liquid Glow highlighters. I am lucky enough to be on Anastasia's PR list, which means that I get sent new releases with the expectation or assumption that I will review them or use them in my videos and stuff. So I have been sent these products for free. So this is the box that it came in. So they come in these little boxes, which is very similar to what the stick foundations and the liquid lipsticks and like pretty much everything comes in. And then inside are these liquid illuminators. So for the first launch there are 4 shades. I assume they'll bring out more because that's what they always do. But the shades so far are Perla, Oyster, Peach Fizz and Bronzed. So here are some swatches of them. I've got the solid color and then sheared out a little more as it would appear on the face. So just by looking at that, I think the only one I'll be able to wear is Perla. I was really looking forward to seeing Peach Fizz and Oyster, but I think they're going to be a little too dark for me, but I'm going to try them all out and see how they look on my face so that if you're a similar skin tone to me, then you'll know what ones will look best on you. Just for reference, I am a like NW15 in MAC. In Anastasia foundations, I'm somewhere in between Ivory and Warm Porcelain. Obviously by looking at bronze, there is no way I'm going to be able to use that, but it will get a lot of use in my kit, so I can use it on people with darker skin tones. So I don't actually use liquid highlights like ever. I have an e.l.f. one, and I think that's the only liquid highlight I've ever owned, so I don't have much experience in the liquid highlighter realm, so take everything that I say with a grain of salt, but I'll just give you my thoughts on it anyway because I do like regular highlighters. I just don't have a lot to compare them to. So just my first impressions just by swatches. I swatched them on my hand last night and I didn't bother like wiping them off or anything. I just kind of like rubbed them in, and what I noticed was that once I kind of rubbed it away, my hand was like completely glittery. Like it wasn't just shimmery, it was like specks of glitter. So I'm not sure how it's going to perform on the face. Personally, I don't mind glittery highlights, but I know that a lot of people don't like glitter in their highlights, so we'll see how they perform on the face, see how they look when they're applied like they're meant to be applied, not just like on my hand and rubbed out and everything. But that's just my first impression, so we'll have to see how it goes. So with my face, I've done normal liquid foundation. I have powdered pretty much all of my face. I left this area free so that I can test it without powder and test it with powder, see what the difference is, if it applies well over powder, because I know a lot of liquid products won't blend out nicely over powder. So we'll see how that goes. I've got a solid highlight area here that hasn't been powdered. So I'm going to start off with some of the darker shades first so that if it is too dark for my skin tone, I can lighten it up with the lighter shades. Obviously I'm not going to use bronzed on my face at all because it's just completely too dark for me. There's no way it's going to work. But I'm going to start off with Peach Fizz and see how that one works. So I've just taken a tiny bit on my fingertip, and I'm going to try out blending it out with my finger first, see how that goes. This is quite nice. I would say that if I went in really lightly with this, I would be able to use this color. But when my head is face on, you can kind of see the color. You can see like a peachy just darkness there. You can see that I've got something there. But when the light hits it, it looks really nice. I'm just going to blend that in with my sponge. It's just the Real Technique sponge. So that color on my skin tone is just a super natural, like you can barely see it, but like gives that nice reflective shine when I turn my head. Looking up close, it is a tiny bit patchy, but I think that's more so my blending out rather than it performing over the powder. So I think this one is going to be good for performing over powder, but we'll see how it goes on this cheek and see what the difference is. On this side I'm going to be using Oyster. Oh, I think this one's going to be really nice on my skin tone. This one is still extremely subtle on my skin tone, but when my face is forward, you can't see that darker color there, so I think I'm going to really like this one for a super subtle highlight. Just blending it in again. Yeah, this just gives like a really subtle luminescence to the skin and just like a slight pink tone. I feel like it blended out exactly the same over just like wet foundation as it did over powder. So I think this is one of the ones where you won't have to worry about using it after powder, which I am very happy about. I hate having to use cream products. I always forget and I always powder all my face and then remember I was going to use cream products. So anything that I can apply over powder, I'm very happy with. Now I'm just going to use Perla. I'm going to put this on the rest of my face, like my nose, just above and underneath my brow bone. And I'm just going to use like brushes and sponges the whole time. I'm not going to blend it out with my finger just to see how it performs that way. So I think it blends a lot more seamlessly if you go straight in with a sponge rather than going in with your fingers first. But that could also just be my lack of experience with liquid highlighters. But these highlighters aren't anywhere near as intense as I was expecting. Like, Anastasia normally has pretty intense highlighters. I was expecting them to be more on the natural side because they're liquid highlighters, and just from the promotional images, they all looked like very natural and dewy and luminous. But I'm not disliking that. It's just if you are after these for like an intense highlight, these aren't going to give that to you. I'm just going to use Perla on top of my cheekbone highlight and see if I can build it up nicely at all. Okay, these do build up, so if you are after something more intense, you can just do a couple of layers. Also, on the face, I am not noticing any type of glitter. Like, even looking really up close, it just looks a little shimmery. It doesn't look glittery whatsoever. So my thoughts on the face, it accentuates skin texture a tiny bit, but not a ridiculous amount. I've got a couple breakouts and just like my really large pores just here, and I've brought the highlight down a bit too far, and it definitely accentuates it a little, but anything like luminous or like even slightly shimmery is going to do that. So it doesn't overly accentuate skin texture. It is a very like natural, and I've been saying this word a lot, just luminous highlight. It's not like a metallic highlight or anything like that. So this is definitely a great summer release. When it's summer in the southern hemisphere, I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of these. I do want to try out bronze, so I'm going to use these on my eyes. So at the moment I don't have any shimmer shades on my lid at all. It's all just matte shades. I'm just going to pop this into my inner third. I'm going to kind of use this like as a half cut crease. I actually got this idea from another YouTuber. Her Instagram name is A1 Delatore. She did a Snapchat takeover with Tarte Snapchat, and she used their liquid illuminators and wet her brush with that and then dipped it into one of the colors and then did a half cut crease with it. So I thought I would try it just with the illuminator alone, and it looks really nice. Because this is one of the darker shadows, it is quite subtle, but I really like how that turned out. Seeing as I don't really have any other liquid highlighters, I'm gonna try out using these to do that quite a bit. I'm just gonna use Peach Fizz and go like right in the inner part of this, just to highlight that inner corner a little more. Alright, so my final thoughts on these. I really like how they perform. I love that they perform well over powder. They don't feel sticky at all, like they've completely dried down. Even on the side where I hadn't set my foundation, they're not sticky. I wouldn't say they are 100% transfer proof, but like they're pretty transfer proof. Like I had to tap quite a bit to get anything to come up on it. They feel really nice. Like even on my eyes, it doesn't feel sticky or anything like that. They dried down really nicely. Don't feel sticky or waxy or anything. This probably won't be an addition to my day-to-day makeup, but I think in summer I'm gonna get a lot of use out of these, particularly on like minimal makeup days. I feel like they're just very nice and natural and luminous. So I am happy with them. However, I did look up the price of them. They are retailing for 25 US dollars, which is roughly 32 Australian dollars. By the time it comes to Sephora here, it'll probably be closer to 40, if not even more than 40. I wouldn't say I would pay that much for these. I don't personally think they're worth it, but again, I'm just not really into liquid highlighters. I would just prefer a regular highlighter. Like, there's absolutely nothing wrong with these. I just personally, it's not something I would spend that much money on. I like think long and hard about my high-end purchases, and I don't just go out and buy a lot of high-end makeup, so it's not something that would make the cut for me. But again, that's absolutely nothing to do with the product. That's just my own personal preferences. Also, just again, if you are someone who wants a very intense highlight, this isn't going to be for you. If you are someone who wants a super intense highlight, I would just stick with the glow kits. These are definitely no Cover FX illuminating drops or anything. They just give a nice natural luminosity. Obviously you can build them up, but they're still not like a super intense metallic highlight. Alright, I feel like I have rambled a ridiculous amount right now. I suck at condensing my thoughts into a few words. I just go on and on like I'm doing right now. Let me know down below if this video was helpful for you. If there's anything else you want to know about them that I didn't cover in this video, feel free to ask about it because I might have just completely forgotten. Also, these launch on the Anastasia Beverly Hills website on the 25th of July, which I think is exactly a week from when I'm filming, so it'll be like a little less than a week by the time this video is up. If this video was helpful for you, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up so I know that it was helpful. And if you'd like to see more of my videos and you're not subscribed already, then feel free to do that while you're at it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in my next video.